We were specifically asked to not identify a preferred or proposed project, but to look at three alternatives equally, and it required no project alternative, required by law. Funding for the draft PIR came from Sandag, the cities of Carlsbad, Oceanside, Buena Vista Lagoon Foundation, and the California Department of Fish and Wildlife through the California National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. Also, I wanted to comment that no federal lead agency has been identified yet, and why that matters is eventually we'll have to identify federal lead agency, and we'll work with them on So one of the first things I always ask is, why enhance the lagoon at all? Obviously, you're going, it's obvious. I mean, now we got here, this is a nice body of water. It's got cattails in here, yeah. But I don't have any experience in it. So I asked, well, what if I took a raft and went right in the middle of it, jumped off? How refreshing would that be? And the answer is not. You go down 2 to 4 feet of water and you get a layer of mud. So that layer of mud itself is about 2 to 4 feet. Then you get stuck there. Right? So I'm up my waist in the mud, in the water. The answer is yes. And so the problem is over the years, many of you know this, the cattails have been encroaching in the water. And this is happening as we speak. So this is a feasibility report. If you look back to the last time that the lagoon was excavated on the East 5-5, you've lost 60 acres of open water for this cattail expansion. You've lost, just in the last 10 years, you've lost 20 acres. So this cattail expansion is real. And if left to be going its own natural way, your lagoon will turn into a marsh. So the feasibility study here says that if you'd have a nice cattail marsh in this alternative, and it would cover this ribbon of water going down right in the middle. So in our enhancement, we said, well, really that's not a good thing. What's going to do is increase flood flows, increase mosquitoes, decrease water quality, and decrease some of the biological reserves out there. So what can you do? So as part of our enhancement process, we talked to stakeholders, many of them were from the feasibility study before Sandag was involved. And we said, what does enhancement mean to you? And we took what we emerged from those discussions and developed a list of objectives. The reason why these objectives are important is because they're the basis for what you judge your various alternatives on. So they give you quantitative and qualitative objectives of what you're trying to accomplish. So these objectives were discussed at the Notice of Preparation workshop, and there was originally 7 of them. We actually added one. The one we added was this public access, maintain or enhance public access and recreation facilities. Cool. So these are objectives that ultimately the PIR will be judged against all the alternatives. Just briefly, the study area, I want to get us all on the same page in terms of some nomenclature. The study area here, we identified 4 basins to help us talk about. That's why you all know the basin here is located between the railroad and the beach. It's known as the Pier Basin. The Quake Basin between the railroad and Carlsbad Boulevard, or PCH, is known as the Yellow Basin. The basin to the east of that is the Coast Highway Basin, and finally, the I-5, we've been talking about it as the I-5 Basin. The green represents your existing cattails, blue is open water. There's also several features that bisect the lagoon. You know this, but heading from the west to the east, there's a small weir here. A weir is a fancy engineering term for a small dam that controls the surface water, so it pulls the water back. The railroad bridge, which is proposed to be double tracked. Carlsbad Boulevard, which has a roundabout over here. This is Carlsbad Boulevard, getting to the south. And then finally, the I-5 heads bisects the lagoon. I want to note that the study area is outside any of the current footprints proposed for the SR 78 alignment project, which is somewhere over in here. So the lagoon does not impact that project at all. I always ask questions about who owns this lagoon. First of all, I want to point out that this diagonal line, or diagonal, I don't know what that line is, that dash line represents the jurisdictional boundaries between Carlsbad and Oceanside. So it's an interesting line. It's one of the reasons why Sandag was asked to take this on. Since we are a regional entity, they said, well, bisects both of our cities. Can you come and look at this, develop the EIR, looking at it from an objective standpoint? So who owns the lagoon? Lots of people. Green is showing public ownership. This area here is the California Department of Fish and Wildlife Services Ecological Refuge. there is a sliver of land owned by the state land station, sort of blue. And then in yellow are various private properties. So I want to just be upfront, by the very nature of this work, all the alternatives will affect private property and public property. And we will need to have everybody going in the same direction to say what kind of alternative is selected. So what were the alternatives that we were asked to look at? Well, the first one was a freshwater alternative. What that meant was keeping as much open fresh water as possible, but deepening that water. So it's not that 2 to 4 foot of kind of warm, murky water, but deepening it below that 4-foot threshold so the cattails can no longer encroach. We also would expand the existing weir. Right now it's at 50 foot. It'd be expanded to 80 foot. And that's the optimal design that was supposed to be built at, but it was built at 50 foot. So we go back to original designs and expand it out. We create a cattail maintenance area, which I'll get into in a second. That's one alternative. Saltwater alternative would remove the weir and create a tidal wetlands. So the tide would be able to flow in and out of the lagoon itself. We would expand the inlet from 50 foot to 100 foot, which is the optimal, or the width that would be optimal for allowing tidal circulation to it. We'd have to elevate Carlsbad Boulevard, I'll get in that in a bit, and create a pedestrian bridge to cross the new inlet. There's also a hybrid alternative. A hybrid alternative tries to take both of these alternatives and push them together. So we maintain west of I-5 would be a saltwater system and have all those elements. East of I-5 would maintain a freshwater system. There's also an interesting design option I'd like to share with you later on about creating a channel guide where we have the tidal flow around private property and linking it on public property. No project, what that means is no enhancement, but the community maintenance occurs right now. So if you bear with me a little bit more, we just run through these a little bit. This is what the freshwater alternative would look like. There's some boards in the back if you want to closer look at it. Again, the weir should be placed in 8 foot. Basins get excavated or dredged down below 4 feet, and that tells you. There's a features here in dark blue for deep water fishing holes. So one of the things you've heard is that the fish like deeper water, have some refuge here, so those can be built in. Bridges underneath the railroad and I-5 would be designed to optimize the water flow that goes in and out. And no proposed changes for Carlsbad Boulevard or PCH. There are 2 additional features, though, included in here, which I'd like to go over. The first is an elevated walkway. This elevated walkway would be located just to the east of Carlsbad Boulevard. What it consists of is it would go from the Nature Center heading south into Maxim Brown Park. Above the 100-foot flood line, it would be located separated from Carlsbad Boulevard. It would be a wooden structure that would have top out for pedestrians, bird watching. This is included in all the alternatives. It's actually given. I apologize if I didn't point it out. It's located right here. The Nature Center to Maxim Brown Park. And when we look, you can see the same outline here. It's trapped up in the cattail itself. So this proposed project under freshwater and hybrids proposes an area of cattail maintenance. What that would look like is excavating or dredging down areas of 4 feet in width and past that 4 feet line. In between cattails or keeping that the habitat, and you have the ability for that to be maintained for mosquito abatement. This is not new. This is in Oceanside, Whalen Lake.